Hey everybody, it's Spencer Michaels, and I'm here with a very inspiring guy named Sean Stephenson. I'm going to let Sean tell his story, but Sean was born with osteogenesis imperfecta. Sean has been a big inspiration on me. I'm not sure if he knows it or not, but I think everybody needs to hear Sean's story. Go for it.
I by no means come into this world with the most glamorous of conditions. I was born with a rare bone disorder called osteogenesis imperfecta, as you just mentioned, which in layman's terms means a brittle bones disorder and causes my bones to fracture easily growing up as a child. I had fractured over 200 times by the age 18. Something as simple as sneezing would break a rib, putting on a pair of pants too quickly could break a leg, and doctors basically told my parents I was going to die at birth. They were surprised I lived, and I think I've been pretty much surprising the experts ever since. I use a wheelchair to get around physically, and it also stunted my growth to only about 3 feet tall. And yet, with all that said, that's only about 2% of who I am on this planet, if that. I've gone out to really study the human mind and human potential and success and personal growth, and really became a student and a lifelong pursuer of potential and how to actually utilize your potential to the greatest of its abilities. So I've done some pretty cool things I'm proud of in my life. I graduated college with high honors, went back to school to complete my PhD, which I'm about to do. I filmed a fitness video with Miss Fitness Universe. I worked in the White House with the President of the United States for some time. I worked on Capitol Hill. I've written 4 books, and I just recently finished filming a TV show that will be coming out soon. So while I'm not saying that to brag, I'm sure I am on some level. With the condition I have, I've gone out to do things bigger than most people do without my limitations. And I think I do it for 2 major reasons. One, because it's a hell of a lot more fun than playing small. And
Definitely.
2, as a reminder to the human race that you are not defined by the container you were put in.
Well, that's phenomenal. Being that this is about confidence, I just want to ask you, do you think, is confidence something you're born with, or is it something you develop? Were you
Well,
always a confident guy?
I wouldn't say I was always confident. I was always outgoing, and there's a difference. You can be outgoing and still insecure about worrying about what other people think, which I've definitely gone through those phases. But I've always been outgoing, and I think I realized at a young age that in order for me to get something that anybody else could just walk up to and get, or reach up to a high shelf and get, I had to interact with people, and I really developed my social skills at a young age. But that didn't make me necessarily the most confident. I think confidence came with the more things I did. They say competence builds confidence,
Right.
and I still agree. The more cool things you do, the more you realize you can do cool stuff. And same thing with women.
Definitely.
And dating is that the more women you're able to feel comfortable around, the easier it is to go up and strike up a conversation or whatever. So looking back on it, was I always confident? No. Do I believe you're born with confidence? Maybe on some level there's some genetic confidence gene that we're unaware of that get passed down from how confident your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents and so on passed down the line to you. But honestly, I think that confidence is something that you develop over time. And a big part of the development of confidence is the development of self-worth.
Yeah.
I know what my value is here on this planet is. It's massive. I know that I'm able to do some bigger things than most people would ever estimate that I would be able to do. And that value, that sense of self-worth, really makes me show up knowing that I'm capable.
Nice. You've had some people that doubt you, that say, and I think a lot of it, I've heard you say it, is a lot of guys think, well, I have less physical limitations than this guy, and I'm sitting here home alone. What the hell is he, how is he able to do this?
Sure. Well, that's probably what they're saying on an unconscious level. Consciously, they're saying this guy's full of shit.
Or he's full of shit.
There's no way he's actually dating. And And you know, that's to be expected from somebody who's living in a state of scarcity. And I say to those people, I'm no longer militant towards an angry saying, you know, I'll prove you wrong. I'm sure I went through that phase. Now I'm more in a phase of, look, you know, you don't have to believe what I tell you. I can tell you this is my life experience, and hopefully your mind is open enough to realize that this can relate to you.
Mm-hmm.
I think a big reason why I'm so comfortable and capable to have a great dating life that I do, at you know, 3 feet tall and in a wheelchair, looking more like a mixture of Teddy Ruxpin and Yoda, not necessarily the highest selling points for sexual attraction from a physical standpoint, is because I realized that there is a difference between being good-looking and attractive.
Right.
Good-looking is a physical structure of symmetry, youthfulness, virility, you know, strength. That is good-looking. That catches the human eye, and that can't be denied. However, good-looking is not the same as attractive. Attractive is an energetic presence.
Right.
It's showing up knowing that you are the life of the party. It's showing up knowing that you are sexually desirable and that you are awesome at pleasing a woman in all senses of the word. And I think that your goal should be attractive because good looks fade in 2 ways. They fade with age, and they, like, you know, natural design of the body not replicating perfectly over time, and they also fade once you get to know somebody and you realize that they're not attractive, that structure of symmetry that's so beautiful looking is really pretty shallow and empty. And as I continue to mature in my dating life, I realize I'm more drawn to attractive women than good-looking women.
Nice.
I've had my fair share of good-looking women. I dated women that most men would say, there's no way he got that girl. She's too hot. And, you know, I thought the same thing when it was happening a little bit. But what I share that with you is because to let you know that that wasn't when I was really my happiest.
Right.
Right. It was ego stroking. It was validating. It made me feel temporarily like I was the man, but then I would feel always hungry for more. I was never satisfied. I was never feeling like I was able to fill my spirit up, if you will. And that's what happens when men chase women that are just good looking. When all of a sudden a man makes the switch to attractive, he becomes fulfilled. And sometimes a woman that's good looking has the facial symmetry and the body shape that, you know, we would call good looking. But a lot of times it may be a woman that's more cute than hot.
Right.
A lot of times it's maybe a girl who's a little shorter and has a little bit more weight on her than you're normally used to wanting to be with, or she's a little taller and skinnier than you like. Whatever. It comes down to how the woman makes you feel in your presence. And likewise to how you make a woman feel in her presence. I mean, the reason why I can roll into a room and have a woman start to fall in love with me is because I know how to make a woman feel like she's on top of the world. And not through compliments and not through kissing her ass so that she thinks I want something, because that won't work. It's rather to just create an environment where she feels good about herself. She feels playful. She knows that there's a challenge in front of her, and she knows that when she's with me, she's safe and also feeling good about her worth and value herself. And that's something that has come with time. That's something that's come with age.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I go on a limb and say, and I guess it's a little controversial, and some guys don't want to hear it, because they're so set that looks are so important and all that. But I think it's actually more impressive to a guy who's less good looking, short, whatever it is, and he's really, truly a genuine, confident guy.
No doubt. I mean, look at it this way. The lateral metaphor, people are more impressed by the guy who goes from rags to riches than the guy that built a company who came from family money.
Great, absolutely.
Now they both in their world went from zero to a certain number, but the guy that came from money, we look at, well, he had upbringing, the background, he might even have financial investors, whatever. But when the guy goes from rags to riches, oh man, that's far more impressive. And the same thing, when I'm with a girl, she is so blown back because she thinks, how can he be this confident in that container? I'm so much more impressed with him than maybe my buddy who's standing next to me, who's average looking, normal looking, or even attractive by good looking standards, and has the same amount of confidence. So you actually are in a better advantage. To go back to what we were saying about confidence, when a man who's balding maybe or shorter, has a little excess weight, or maybe doesn't have a lot of money, things that a man would deem as setback, if he shows up to the game